Welcome to the Mostly Pottered at Night. Mostly, I am Salem, joined by my co-host Graveyard.
Hello.
This is episode 140. That's 140 of our weekly All Things Horror podcast. We're continuing our March Madness deep dive into the new French Extremity Movement with some films that were inspired by the earlier films in the genre and continue that attitude into the modern age. We have two from the same director. I'm not going to butcher her name. With Raw and Titane or Titane, I don't know. And
French for titanium, sure.
yeah, and the debut film of the Substance director Coralie Fargeat, probably mispronounced that. Sorry. With Revenge. Okay, have you seen any of these previously?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I've heard about Raw. I think we discussed it, and I was not prepared for Titane
Well,
at all.
I don't think anybody is. All right. So we'll do a chronological order here. We start with Raw from 2016. The movie opens up with a car accident. A person like jumping in front of a car. The car crashes into a tree. We don't get any further information about that at all, but that's where we start out. We start out with a girl who is a strict vegetarian. And her parents are also strict vegetarian and like force her to eat only vegetables. And then we see this by like she accidentally got like a piece of meat in like her mashed potatoes or something.
I couldn't tell you that piece of meat was supposed to be.
It looked like a hush puppy. I don't know what it was supposed to be. Yeah. So anyway, so she's like very vegetarian. Anyway, so she is going to school. So her parents like basically drop her off at college. She's going to a veterinary college. And this college, her older sister, has already going to and has already been. So she was supposed to meet her there. She does not. We kind of get the idea that the older sister probably isn't the most responsible of folks. Anyway, so she starts going to school, and the hazing is apparently like, I don't know if this is just a thing in France or just this particular school, but it seems like the fraternity, like, what are they, like pledge week or whatever, like applies to everyone.
It seems like it's almost year round too.
Right.
Honestly.
Well, it seems like it applies to everyone. Like, so it's not like you have to pledge for fraternity for this stuff to happen. No, it's like everyone that goes to the school.
Yeah, in the dorms they're getting hazed.
Yeah. So you're like locked in. That's it.
Yep.
So the hazing starts like immediately, where they're like all like they throw all their stuff out the windows and you trash all their stuff, and they like walk them all outside and then come back. And when they finally like, they're walking on hands and knees and in the like dark area. I don't know what the hell's happening. Hey, typical hazing stuff. And everybody that's doing it to them is all wearing masks and stuff. And then they come back in and they have a big, huge party. I guess that's what you do.
Sure.
So she meets her roommate, who is kind of introduces himself as gay like immediately.
Well, because she asked for a female roommate.
Yeah, she's like, I was supposed to get a female roommate. He's like, well, you got a gay one. It's the same thing to them.
Yep.
So she goes to the party. She finally meets her sister at the party, who's like obviously messed up. Kind of try to like, do sistery talk stuff, but she's like too jazzed up and it's like not happening. Right. Anyway, but at least we get, get to know what she looks like and where she is. The next day they continue with the hazing. They get covered in blood. Like they do like a class picture and they get covered in blood in their white coats. And they're all forced to eat like raw rabbit kidneys or something.
Yeah, it's kidney
livers or something.
Rabbit kidneys. Yep.
Yeah, whatever it is. And she's like, well, I can't do it. I'm vegetarian. And she's like, oh, go talk to my sister. She'll tell you. And the sister's like, yeah, I do it. And she like just eats one without, like it's nothing. He goes, see, look, I can do it. You can do it. So she makes her do it. And then she seems fine, but then later on that night she like breaks out in this like crazy rash.
Oh, I would take an Brillo pad to myself at that point in
Yeah, it
time.
was like, yeah, her skin is like peeling off, and it's like it makes you itchy to watch the scene. It's a very
Hmm.
very gross looking rash. So she goes to like the nurse. The nurse like gives her like this, I don't know, topical ointment and says she was probably allergic to something, or she was probably having a food reaction or something. Um so essentially at this point she starts like craving meat. So like the next time we see her, she's in a cafeteria and she like takes a Salisbury steak and stuffs it in her pocket. But she doesn't quite eat it, but you can tell she's like craving meat.
Yeah.
So she goes with her roommate to like the gas station and she has like a meat sandwich, and she's like becomes like in love with meat,
Yes.
like obsessed with it. But then it's like she's not getting enough. And it's kind of bizarre because she's kind of starting to fantasize about drinking blood, eating people kind of thing.
And eating just raw chicken.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, she's like eating raw chicken, eating any kind of meat that she can get her hands on,
Hmm.
and it's just progressing badly. And there's a couple of more scenes that kind of roll into this, but then there's kind of a weird, bizarre. I'm trying to remember which scene comes first. Does the party come first, or does her and the finger come first? I think her and the finger comes first.
Uh,
Well,
yes.
we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she goes over to her sister's house to like finally like hang out and talk. And they're hanging out and talking, and somehow it gets into a weird waxing situation. She's like waxing her bikini line, and somehow the wax gets stuck, and she grabs scissors to cut the wax off and accidentally cuts her own finger off. The
Yeah.
sister does. I don't know
Yeah.
how that's possible, but she does.
Oh, they're giant ass scissors.
Yeah. So she basically like, passes out, and then the girl calls the ambulance, and is like, "Oh, I got to go put the finger on ice." And she goes to put the finger on ice, and then she looks at the finger and she becomes like overcome with this urge, and she literally starts eating the finger.
Like a chicken bone.
Right. Yeah, like it's a chicken wing. The sister wakes up and sees this, and instead of like being upset, she just kind of seems annoyed. Anyway, so there's the whole like hospital where with her getting fingered and everything, but again, she doesn't seem that as upset as you would assume someone to be if they were eating your finger after you
that
just
they
cut it off.
that they can't reattach now.
Right. Yeah. So she seems to be kind of okay with it. And then as soon as she gets back from the hospital and stuff, they kind of reconnect, and we get another replay of the car accident.
Hmm.
To where the sister is like, "Oh, watch this." So she like jumps in front of a car. The car crashes into a tree, and she starts like licking the blood and eating the flesh of the victims that hit the tree.
Yep.
And so she's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to help you. You need to come over here and do this. Like this will fulfill your need or whatever." And she just kind of panics and runs away. But she becomes like um I don't know how you want to describe it. She becomes like a darker version of herself, right?
I would
To
say
where
almost feral.
yeah, so she like basically like starts dressing all in black,
Hmm.
and partying hard. And anyway, she goes to this one party and she's like drinking like crazy, like dancing awkwardly with everybody. Um and the sister ends up kind of grabbing her and bringing her back in the morgue, and it looks like she's going to pull out a body and let her like eat the body.
Hmm.
Right. But then she kind of blacks out and we don't see the rest of it. The next day she goes to class and everybody's like kind of weirded out by her and like literally moving chairs away from her, stuff like that. Um, and so she's like, "What's going on?" So her roommate, shows her like, "Hey, watch this video." And it's like a video of her like in like a blacked out drunken state, like trying to bite the hand of a corpse, and her sister's like messing with her about it,
Right.
like teasing her. So she goes and like fights the sister about it.
Yeah.
And the sister just kind of like tries to leave, and they, keep reconnecting and refighting, whatever. And she eventually just leaves. She, I guess, decides at that point, because it was stated earlier in the film that she was a virgin, that she didn't want to be a virgin anymore. So she somehow convinces her gay roommate to have sex with her.
Yep.
So she does, and then afterwards he's like really weird and awkward about it, and he's like, I'm not gay. Like, I had to hide that I was gay for too long. I don't want to hide it anymore. Like,
Hmm.
I can't be with you. I can't do it. So she goes off on kind of another bender, and then she wakes up again in bed next to the roommate, and he seems to be sleeping peacefully. And then as she gets up, she pulls the covers back and sees that his like leg is like completely eaten,
Yeah.
and there's like blood everywhere. He's obviously dead. And right in the other room is her sister, and she's in like this weird kind of like dazed state,
Playing video games.
playing video games. So, um, and then the movie basically ends where she gets arrested and goes to prison for the murder. And then it seems like that sister went back to being a vegetarian again,
Hmm.
but the other girl is in prison for the murder of her roommate.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
no, no, no. Her sister's in prison because she
yeah,
goes back and talks to her dad.
right.
Yeah.
And then the dad is like, "Oh yeah, your mom, we you'll find a way to cope." And he like takes his shirt off, and you see like all these bite marks and scars all over his chest.
Yep.
Um, and that actor is played the same guy that played Mark Stevens in Calvaire.
Okay. Yeah, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah, he was also in another. What other movie was he in? He was in one of the first round of movies we watched.
Mm.
But yeah, he's been in a couple of them. But yeah, so yeah, basically it's like this is a thing that your family has. You need to learn to deal with it. Blah blah.
Seemingly only females. Because the dad made a
Possibly.
comment. The dad made a comment earlier. He's like, "You don't want girls." So it's like he has his mom. Like it's almost like he's a vegetarian to help control the mom, but she uses him as a chew toy essentially.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's it.
Yep. Fiend. Now, was this your first time seeing this,
This one, yeah.
or your first thoughts then?
I mean, it's interesting. It's good. I mean, it's like it almost treats like eating meat as like a drug.
Right.
It's like it's like an addiction. So it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, before she didn't eat meat at all and she was fine, but as soon as like meat like entered her system, like she like again was craving it like an addict.
Right.
And the sister was just didn't care and was just an out of control addict, like not trying to do anything, and she was kind of sort of trying to be normal but couldn't be.
Right, because she has the same craving. So you probably got it triggered by the year before eating the kidney as well.
Right.
That's my guess. Yeah, and this was interesting, and I didn't really look it up. I didn't want to see if that was, but it almost felt like if you wasn't the allegory for addiction, you'd almost think this is like a huge vegan or vegetarian's take on like eating meat bad just makes you feral human type stuff.
Well, there's plenty of other people eating that Salisbury steak that were just fine.
And it's funny, it's like the subtitles go, it's a hamburger. I'm like, that's not a hamburger.
Well, I mean, it's
That
a
was,
hamburger patty, I guess.
yeah, but it is sloppy as hell.
Well, different countries have different versions of things.
Yeah, still look gross.
Salisbury steak, man. If you're not a fan, it's okay.
Yeah. Do you want to do your highlights first? Do you want me to go first?
Sure. So, that French vet school, man.
First, yeah.
That's a crazy school. Like, I mean, it's like a veterinary school. It was like nonstop party. Like all the kids were wearing like their lab coats that all had like crazy shit written and drawn all over them and stuff like that. It was like it looked like Didn't seem like the teachers cared.
And that's I've never seen a vet school, but that's a lot of students for a vet school, I feel.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many people go through med school. I imagine it's a decent number.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Um, yeah, it was an interesting take on like veganism and vampirism almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like you either vegan or vampire or both. Which was I mean, it's an interesting concept for sure. Um, some of the music in it was pretty good. I
Mm-hmm.
heard the Long Blondes, which I have not ever heard in another piece of media ever. So that was fun. And then Blood Red Shoes, one of my favorites, was also in there during the party scene. That was fun. And I'd say the blood and the flesh effects in this were very good. I
Yes.
guess they kind of have to be because that the movie revolves around it, but they did look good.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, this is another instance of it's all English music being played in the French movie. That seems to be the standard now. In these movies.
Well, not all of it, but yeah, definitely most of it was for sure.
Yeah, I agree. The gore effects were just were perfect. It's like it wasn't like the watery pink blood that we've seen and stuff like that. So yeah, the gore effects were great. Like his leg looked like he was gnawed off, essentially. Um, and it's touches a lot of, I'd say, a little bit of taboo stories in there, and I think it does it well. It's not like in your face with it, but it's still pretty good. It's not as visceral as Cannibal Holocaust, right? So it's still pretty good for it. It's interesting that this genetic disease runs in the family. Like I was not expecting that twist
With
at all.
the very end.
Yeah, that the mom had
Uh,
it too. Yeah.
well, I was gonna assume that they all did, like, and that's why they were like strict vegetarians. But you'd think they were like, "Hey, daughter, don't ever eat meat."
Right.
Like even like as a joke or something, don't do it. Like,
Right. Right. And they said, because when she gets the whatever is just a hush puppy and the mashed potatoes, like, what if you're allergic? Like, wouldn't it be easier to say you're allergic to meat than say we're just
well, because
vegetarian?
if you say I'm allergic to meat, it sounds like bullshit. There's no way
I
you're
know.
allergic to every meat.
That's true. And I'd say the last party scene, the colors, it reminded me of a Fulci or a Argento movie. There's good contrast with a lot of reds into it too. So I like that. I'll roll into my low points. Uh, I understand. I don't think I could ever go. I'm a vegetarian. And I'm going to go out to eat, and the only thing I can eat there is mashed potatoes.
Yeah, you'd think if the entire family is vegetarian, they'd go to a place that has a better spread, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like that's just. It seems weird just to go out to eat for mashed potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. If it was like I'm the only vegetarian member of the family and they just didn't think of me when they picked the place, that's one thing. But like
Right,
the entire family is vegetarian, and they went
right.
to a place that had like mashed potatoes, and that was it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that it makes you kind of wonder too. Is you know how much of the meat juices have to get into her mashed potatoes before she gets that craving, right? Maybe it's too small of a dose. I don't know. Some questions there.
Approximately one rabbit kidney.
Apparently. Uh Fucking hazing. I could, if I ever went to a school that did that, I'm just like, I'm out. Like, I understand if I was going to a frat or a sorority, fine, but like my dorm and you threw my bed out the window and you still haven't gotten it, like, no, it was too much hazing.
Well, like I said, this didn't seem like anybody had a choice. Like this was like everybody got it. It wasn't like some people got singled out.
Yeah,
Everybody got it.
yeah,
So, I mean, I could deal with it if it's like everybody. If it was only certain people who were getting picked on, like yeah, that sucks, and I wouldn't deal with that.
yeah,
But like, yeah, if everybody has to struggle through it, like, gotta do it.
yeah. Um, I didn't need to see the hand in the cow and the hand coming out of the cow while I was eating. I realized I shouldn't have eaten while watching this. It's
It's
gross.
a movie named Raw. You know
I
it's a
know.
new French extremity movie and you decided to eat while watching it. That's your own fucking fault.
That's true. Of course, when what happened to the finger, they blame the dog, and the parents go, "The dog tasted human flesh. We have to kill it." So poor Quickie, poor guy, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then while she's like at the party and kind of biting the guy, I had to pause it and then rewind a little bit. Someone was tonguing someone else's eyeball.
Yeah, I know. I literally have that written down.
I'm just going, what the hell?
It wasn't in the background. It was in the foreground. It was right in front of you. That wasn't something you could miss.
I'm like, no. I've never looked at an eyeball and go, you know what? I want to lick that thing.
Well, obviously you've never been on the level of drugs that they were on.
Apparently not, but I'm like, I couldn't. That like gave you like your skin crawl momentarily. That's what I got. How about you?
I will say that itchy rash that she had, like it literally made me itchy. Like it looked bad. And it played very well. Like it was bad news. I mean, eating raw chicken with your bare hands, that is, God, this is disgusting. Like I have a hard time, like, when I have to like cook chicken, like handling it. I don't know what it is. It's like, I think it's been ingrained in me. Like there's liquid salmonella all around the chicken, like, I don't know what it is, but it weirds me out. And like, yeah, she would just eat it, like, it was disgusting. The scene where she was like eating her hair and then puking it up.
Yep.
That bothered me. I was like, and it wouldn't fucking stop. She like kept pulling hair out of her mouth. I'm like, stop.
Oh, she pulled more hair that's on her than was on her head out of her mouth.
Right. It was like cleaning a shower drain. It's disgusting. There's a lot of like, I felt real bad, like the animal dissection of like actual like dogs and stuff, like bothered me. I know it has to happen. I understand it's a veterinary school. It just, I don't know. I don't think I could do that.
No.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they treated the animals there very well, but hey, that's their job. So if they do it every day, you're not going to be as gentle as everybody else. And I have eyeball licking here as well. Because I was like, what is that?
Yep.
That's all I got.
All right. So what are olives for this episode?
I did uncomfortable party dances because all of these films have an uncomfortable party dance in them. So where you're cringing, going like, this is not going to end for all of these. So, yeah, that's what we're going.
Yeah, I can't determine which one's I feel like the last one has the most uncomfortable party dance.
Yes. Yes, we'll get there.
It probably goes in order of the movies too, for the uncomfortableness of it.
Yeah, the second one is not like, it's because you know what the movie is, you're like, oh no, don't do that, like that kind of thing. This one is just like, the first one is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Do you want to go first for your uncomfortable party dances out of 10?
Sure. So for Raw, I thought it was pretty good. Is this a movie that I would rewatch? Probably. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 uncomfortable party dances out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. If I watch this again, make sure I'm not eating anything for the fantastic scenes.
You did that to yourself.
I did. But no, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. I also really enjoyed the next one too. But I'm giving this 8 uncomfortable party dances out of 10. Like, it was an interesting take on it to show that transcendence into like feral human and how do you deal with it. And the mom really hasn't figured out how to deal with it either. So it's interesting.
Well, I mean, she's centering it on one person and that person is not dead. So it could be worse.
His chest is scarred to all hell.
Yeah, but he's still functioning as an adult, so he's not dying.
And if they would have said it's just vampirism, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Well, or like be a ghoulism. I don't know. You're actually consuming the flesh.
Ghouls do eat people. Yeah. So overall, like I said, pretty strong outing for it.
All right. So now we move on to Revenge from 2008. 18. Um, some in English, some in French.
About half and half, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah. So for this one, it's you know I'm calling this one what it is. I'll say what it is. It's the "I spit on your grave" French version, a little bit.
I don't. I mean, I don't know about.
A bit, a bit.
I mean, the basic premise. Sure, I'm just saying like the way that she like comes back. It's more like a surviving the game.
Mm.
So it's like I spit on your grave beginning, and then it like surviving the game ending.
Well, or the parent version of what the parents did in Last House on the Left.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So and anyway, we're introduced to helicopter ride going across the desert. Obviously, America. I don't think France have deserts like that.
No, but there's Algeria.
Yeah.
Which was very a French. I think it still technically is a French place. They speak France there, or it's France. They speak French there, and it's in northern Africa.
Yeah, but I feel like she was an American girl in America. So,
Well, she said she was going back to L.A. So all we know is again, and since the three guys were all in French, and the other two guys got there without a helicopter, I'm gonna say they're in a French area.
yeah.
So I'm gonna say probably not in mainland Europe, France, but I would say maybe like Algeria.
Yeah, I can see that. So anyway, let's call her pop idol. I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, yes. Jen. She goes back. He gets this, this really tan guy with a house in the middle of the desert, and they're just there to bone. And after they bone, he gets a phone call from his wife. He goes, "Yeah, how are the kids doing? Oh, that's great. Yeah, the boys are coming over to be hunting, all this stuff." So like this dude is bringing women back to his desert house to bang.
Well, yeah, he calls it a hunting cabin, but it's not a hunting cabin. It is like a bachelor pad.
But considering I think there's only one bedroom, yeah, and he has two other guys there. So anyway, that's kind of going on. They wake up the next morning and there's just two guys staring at them from the outside. Like, oh, it's the guy's buddies, and they're just kind of going about their day and kind of living the desert life before they go hunting. And she takes a bite of an apple. The one guy decides to take a bite of the same bite of the apple, and then we just leave it there to start rotting to show passage of time. We have essentially the lizard man, as she pictures him as, and then the dopey fat guy as his guy's friend. And they're all partying and seemingly having a good time, right? Nothing seems out of the ordinary. And then she kind of puts on some music and dances quite seductively with the lizard French guy to the point where he's like, "Okay, cool. This is awesome. We're going to be doing this." And it's like, "Yeah, no, go into bed." Oh, all right. So night goes and wakes up, and Peter is his name Peter?
The main dude?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, he has to go get supplies. Yeah, we're going on this hunting trip. She goes, oh, okay. And lizard French guy then proceeds to rape her because he thought they had this thing going last night. She's like, oh no. It's like, well, what's changed from last night? I didn't change. Something about me changed. And all this is happening. The guy, essentially with like bag of Cheetos and Cheetos all over his face, was just
they were some kind of like
pork
marshmallow chocolate.
Oh, they were, weren't they?
They were not Cheetos.
So like Cadbury eggs, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it was. It's something not American.
Right, and nothing that I'd ever want to eat after that scene. Where they zoom in his mouth and just chewing on it. She's like, help me. And he's like, yeah, help or join in, or leave. And he just leaves. And he then proceeds to finish the raping. Anyway, she is distraught. She's waiting for the guy to come back, have his back. It's like, this happened. And he kind of gets mad at his friends, but he's like, you know what? No, we don't have to do anything. This is on you. And she realizes like, oh shit, bad things are going to happen to me now. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Well, he does the asshole thing and offers her money.
Yeah. That's
He
true.
says, I'm gonna hook you up with a good job, and I'm gonna pay you a lot of money
Hmm.
to make up for what happened.
Yeah, just be quiet.
Right.
And she goes, no. And they start to chase her. They chase her to a cliff edge. It's like, okay, we're good. We're going to take care of. No one's going to hurt you. Got it? She goes, yeah. And then shoves her off the cliff. And then she gets impaled by a tree, seemingly dead. And they kind of just go back and start prepping, for their hunt. But they couldn't get to her, just because all that stuff. They were going to come back to her and get prepared. In that meantime, she's able to light the tree on fire, have it, break off. Then she kind of just drags her profusely bleeding body over to the edge of the cliff. So when they come back, she's not there. So they go, oh shit, now we have to go find her because somehow she's still alive. So that kind of cat and mouse part of the movie takes place where she's trying to survive out there. She happens to have some peyote or shrooms with her. I don't
Right.
think.
Well, she kills the one guy first.
Right. Yeah. She goes and kills the dopey guy. She kind of like stabs him through both eyes. He dies in the lake. Takes kind of his supplies and kind of has a fire. And she unfoils the beer can that's there and takes peyote or shrooms to the point that she just cuts out the rest of the tree branches still inside of her, and then essentially seals her wound up with the beer can on the fire. So all
Which
that's
burns the eagle from the can into her
we'll get
stomach
to that
flesh.
part. I don't think that's possible.
I was thinking about it. It could be,
Not
but
it's branded. It's not raised on the beer can. That's my issue with it. So anyway,
well, yeah,
she's
but we don't know what the paint was made out of.
that's
The
true.
paint on that particular color might have been a different thing that burned hotter or something. I mean, again, I was thinking about it. The first time I saw it, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And then as I was watching it the second time, I was like, well, I mean, maybe there's some kind of difference in chemical reaction or something.
They just wanted her ever branded with American.
No, that's exactly what. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I'm just saying, it technically could possibly happen. Unlikely, but possible.
Yeah. So anyway, then she's still hiding in a cave, and she has 4 dream sequences in a row.
A lot. Yeah.
Way too many. Let's go with that. Of all this stuff coming back.
She's
here.
on peyote, man.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. She has she did get his gun, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that's going on there. And they go and kind of wake up as they slept kind of out in the desert and go to this watering hole, and they're like, oh wait, they found their friend. Oh shit, she's alive and killing people now. So like, okay, we gotta figure out, we gotta split up. We're gonna take your car, I'm gonna take this, and we're gonna kind of go along our way. And while she got a good distance from him, she's able to see the guy kind of checking on his broken nose that his great friend gave him because he was not adhering to things the way he wanted to, because he just turned into psycho killer guy. Like, we're gonna fucking kill her, we should pay for all this stuff, blah blah blah. The other guy's like, I just want to go home. It's like, no, you're now part of this, we're gonna do this. Anyway, she kind of sees the reflection in the mirror, kind of starts down the lizard man, and she's able to essentially get the jump on him as he's driving down a barely a road on the cliff's edge, and shoots him. And as he's trying to fill gas, gets him in the shoulder, so he's kind of bleeding out. And she realizes that he's bleeding out too much, so he takes off his shoe and ties his sock around the shoulder to help stop the bleeding, because she's been following that trail. And then kind of have a shootout a little bit. As she gets in front of him and runs away, and she breaks her flashlight. He steps in the glass, and so he has to stop, and his foot's the glass is almost completely through his foot, I feel like. And he's digging it out.
Yeah, and he's like 2 inches into his foot.
Oh,
I mean, he is
just
all the way in there. He's knuckle deep in his foot.
Oh yeah, and just digging it out. I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so he's able to get up and kind of start to follow her. She has they have a little bit of shootout. She gets her earlobe shot off.
Yeah. She loses an earring.
Yeah, she loses an earring, but she does manage to kill him. So anyway, the Peter guy, he's not able to talk to his other friends at all. He's like, oh shit. So he starts like panicking and goes back to his quote hunt lodge that he has and calls for the helicopter, like, yeah, come in like 30 minutes. And then he's like, yeah, the other two guys, I sent them on the airplane earlier today. I don't know where they're at, just to cover his tracks. And he kind of goes down, and she's outside the multicolored glass he has there and shoots him. Hits him pretty good with the shotgun. Or you know more than I do about that, because they look like shotgun shells, but she aimed it like a rifle.
Well, if you have a shotgun, you still aim it. It's not
shooting...
not like video games where it just like has this cone of killing in front of you. You do have to aim it, especially if you're using slugs.
Yeah, but I mean, she's shooting from a distance for a lot of these.
I mean, a shotgun, if you have a good hunting shotgun and you're using slugs, it has a pretty good range.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking, all the shots that she was taking were probably 100 yards or less.
Yeah.
And then slugs have a range of more than that. Even like buckshot even has a decent range at 100 yards.
Yeah, they always consider shotguns to be like close range weapon.
Yeah, well, exactly. When you're playing like a game or something, like, shotgun is like as soon as you fire it, there's like a cone of death in front of this gun. That's like a one-shot kill, but like after like 10 feet, it like barely hits you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how games work. Yeah, that's not how shotguns work in real life. Unless you're using like a street sweeper and have like a tiny little barrel like a Mad Max gun or something.
Right. You're not as accurate with it.
Correct.
So anyway, he is bleeding out and starts like saran wrap his stomach, and they proceed to have a cat and mouse through the same corridors that are just getting more and more soaked with blood. And eventually, he catches up to her, starts choking her out, kind of bashes her head in with the butt of his gun.
Well, he catches up to her because she finally slips and falls in the blood.
In the 50 gallons of blood the guy has bled out.
Right.
And, hits her with the butt of his gun, and she's like, okay, I'm choking out. And then she's able to, jam her hand into his abdomen to, take that damage he has, and then shoots him again. And, well, he dead. She gets into the helicopter and goes home. Fiend.
Well, it shows her standing there and the helicopter coming. But yeah.
Yes. I don't know how you explain that, but good luck.
Yeah, take a shower real fast. You'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is the first time seeing it. Like I said, I kind of wrote that in my first notes was this is like a modern version of the 70s revenge stories that we got from the American cinema.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think it is an interesting way to do it with French and English, and just it seemed not as grimy as those did, but it still felt dirty. But I enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty well put together movie. Was this your first time seeing this one as well?
No.
Okay. What were your first thoughts, or even on the rewatches then?
I mean, on the rewatch, I was just trying to, the things that I didn't make sense of the first time, I was trying to make sense of the second time. That was like like the beer can stuff like that, just stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think it's a great movie. But yeah, yes. like you said, it's like I Spit on Your Grave. Like the first half is I Spit on Your Grave, right? Mm-hmm. The rape scene is not quite as bad as that one. But the second half of it, instead of being like a kind of planned, one by one slasher killing, it becomes like a, again, like a surviving the game. Like literally you're being hunted and then you're trying to hunt them back.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is good. I think it fits into the story really well.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, it flows really well. It's just, it's just those two elements together.
Yeah. I'll start with my highlights this time. I said it's the French version of that. I think is a really well made movie. So you can see, where the director came from especially with the substance, because she's able to take body horror, and I think the gore was pretty well done as well. It felt like I felt like he was digging into his foot.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was uncomfortable to watch.
Very uncomfortable. Now, was the dead body in the lake that good? No. But the rest of it was pretty damn good, because when these people are naked, they let you know they're naked, because they are.
Yeah, well, the dude in the lake is like he's been dead less than 24 hours, and he
Yeah.
was already like bloated, like he was in there a week.
Yeah, and like dripping and blue. I'm like, I don't believe that one, but
I don't think it happens that quick.
no. And like I said, it was interesting for it to be half English and half French because when they were talking to her, it was all in English. When they were talking to each other, it was all in French. So, and I think they married really well together. And it was interesting to have that subtitles, even with that. I'm like, oh, you can kind of understand the gist of it without understanding French and not really needing subtitles because it's the plot of the movie. And they all get their comeuppance. So that's good. That's what I have. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I'm excited to see where she goes. But like, I've seen this one, I've seen the Substance. They're both very good. I don't know if there's other films I should look and check out, but this one I did watch this one after I watched the Substance, so not too long ago. But yeah, I was like very surprised at how good it was. This is more of a PSA. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but never go anywhere that's remotely accessed if you don't control that access.
Correct.
I don't care who you are, what the situation is. If somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you got to take a plane in there, and that's the only way in or out," like, don't go there.
Nope.
Like, don't ever do that. Like, that's just. I mean, because again, you're trapped there. Even if it's just that uncomfortable, whatever it is, you're trapped there for as long as they want you to be there. But anyway, I would say the color contrast and light use in this film is very good because the film mostly takes place during the day.
Yeah.
So everything is very bright sunlight, very bright colors. Like the blood is sometimes almost made like fluorescent. It's like so bright and almost like a hot pink sometimes, like to just kind of really make it pop. And I thought they did a very good job with the color and contrast in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I did like that survival transformation. Like there was no like her, like crying and trying to figure out what to do. Like she was just like no nonsense, no bullshit, like immediate, like I need to survive.
Yep.
A lot of these movies have like they're crying for a while and then figure out, oh yeah, I guess I should do something, right?
And then they have a montage.
Right. Yeah. No, this one she's just like, nope, no bullshit. Like, let's go.
Yep.
She may not have been comfortable with the gun, but they literally show her figuring it out. Like, how do I get the bullet in? How do I get the bullet out? Like, it's stuff like that. She was like practicing and just showing herself how to do it, which is possible. I thought it was great that the way that they did that. I thought the music was good. For the most part, there was some goofy parts in there, but I thought the music overall was pretty on point and good. Like you said, the blood and gore was great. Lots and lots of blood. And I feel like there's like the nudity is reversed in this.
Lots of dongers.
Yeah, like she is naked for a little bit. Like we get a huge focus on her ass for a large part of the film, but like her nudity is pretty limited to where like the dude is naked constantly.
He's almost naked more than he is clothed.
Yeah, like the whole end scene of like him running around bleeding out, like he's totally naked during that entire scene. The scene's like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting flip, I thought. That's it for high points, low points. Yeah, men who think they deserve something or are owed something. I don't understand that mentality. Like, she was obviously with the other dude, right? And she asked him to dance. He wouldn't dance. So she danced seductively with you to get him to dance. Like, it's very clear that's what was happening, right? Like, I don't understand how you'd be like, oh yeah, she was in love with me and that's why she was doing it. Like, dude, what is wrong with you? And then of course people that like witness this shit, right? Like the dude like literally eating fucking mallows or whatever the fuck he was eating, and like just being like, well, okay, whatever, I'll go in the other room and watch TV and turn it up so I can't hear this screaming. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, just the whole rape culture thing is it's just a bizarre concept to me. I don't understand how people can do that. I mean, it happens all the time. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's just I can't understand how people get themselves in that mindset.
Yeah.
It just bothers me. And if you're gonna fucking kill someone, like, make sure they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He'd like push her off a cliff and they're like, yep, let's go party. And they like went down there like the next morning.
Yeah, they
It's
did.
like, what the fuck are you doing? So like, yeah, she had plenty of time to leave. Of course she's not there anymore. And I say, I don't know who misunderstood this, but like, I don't think the human body holds that much blood.
Hey, that's one of my notes too.
Now it may hold that much blood, but if you lose the amount of blood that they show people losing in this film, you are not alive anymore.
No, there's at least a gallon of blood.
Right. It's like there's blood like the trail of blood when they're following her is like a constant stream of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like they were holding a gallon, just letting it glub, blub, blub, blub,
Yep.
all over the ground. It's like she would not be alive. It's not possible. But that's and everybody that bleeds in this film is bleeding way more than they should have been dead.
Yeah.
I mean, self-surgery is never fun. I mean, I guess she was on peyote or whatever, but like, wow.
She cut that hole pretty damn big.
Yeah. And I don't think the people understood like the day-night cycle.
No.
Like it seems to be like day all the time, and then night just like passes in a finger snap, and like nothing happens at night. It's very odd.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was goofy, but that's all I got. What do you got?
Yeah, like I said, I wrote down humans do not have that much blood in them, and still walking around pretty well. Obviously, rape. You're in the desert. You have way too much glass in your house. Like you are not air conditioning that worth shit.
Well, if you want to show off, I mean, he had a fucking infinity pool and shit. I mean, it was obviously made for looks.
And he had to go outside to go to his own bedroom. Yes, I think that's too much glass for a house. Personally,
You didn't have to go outside.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
The foyer.
It was a hallway that led right to the bedroom.
Yeah.
That was on the same side of the glass.
I felt like it opened up, so maybe it was possible to be outside. I said I don't know how she didn't bleed out initially before I saw his blood everywhere. What about your back hole? We don't see your.
No, again, that was one of the things that I thought about the first time I watched this, and now I'm assuming they're meaning to say when she lit the tree on fire. It does show it burning her back. I think they meant to say when it burned her back and she fell off of the tree that it had already cauterized her back wound.
Which that's the only logical thing that could happen because first off, if you're cutting the hole to be bigger to get the piece out, if you have a back hole, push it out the other way. It's clearly bigger on that side.
Well, I don't know. If it's like barbed, you don't want to push it back.
Yeah.
Because it's going to do more damage.
Well, yeah, arrows, if you get shot with an arrow, you pull it all the way through.
Right. So yeah, I think she was following that. And again, I think the back was already cauterized. I mean, I think they're assuming it's already cauterized because the tree was on fire.
But man, did her skin cauterize well and back into place perfectly.
Yeah.
With the American Eagle beer can brand, which
Mexican Eagle. Come on, dude.
I don't think paint or non-raised branding works that way because it looked like she either got branded with an iron or just like a raised tattoo.
Like I said, we don't know what substance the paint was made out of. The paint may have burned hotter at that particular moment in time and burned her more at that, where the paint was than not. We don't know.
And then the last thing, I'm just nitpicking. What were they hunting? I couldn't tell what he threw at that car.
It was like a coyote or something.
I'm like, what are you like? You're in the desert. What is there to hunt? It's like you're hunting elk or deer.
I mean, there's big animals in the desert.
Some, but it just seemed weird. Like I said, I couldn't tell what that was. I thought maybe it was like a fox at best.
It was bigger than a fox.
So
it's like dog sized.
Yeah. That's all I have. So would you like me to go first for number of uncomfortable party dances out of 10?
Sure.
I said I really like this movie. It's something that I definitely need to rewatch, and just like you did, and maybe I'll quench some of my low points here if I think about it a little bit more. This is a solid movie, though. I will give this 9 uncomfortable party dances out of 10. How about you?
Yeah, same for me, 9. Again, I think it's a a great movie. It's a fun movie. Again, it has that spirit of the that 70s kind of
Mhm.
you know shock that they had in like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left, and that kind of attitude in the beginning, and then it kind of goes to more like a grimy revenge. Like I said,
Mhm.
it reminded me a lot of like Surviving the Game. I don't even I've said it a lot. You know what that movie is,
Yeah.
right? Okay, the one with oh, is it Nick Nolte and Ice T?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that movie like a bazillion times. It was like one of those movies that was like always on. So I've seen it a bunch of times. But anyway, I know there's a lot of films that do that same thing, but that's the one that always pops in my mind.
Mhm. Yeah, it's good. So you can take us through Titane from 2021 in at least as many sentences as
Sure.
possible.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to gloss over some of the uninteresting parts. But okay, so we start off with a car accident with a dad and a young girl. To have a car accident, she smacks her head on the window. We see her like recovering in the hospital in like a halo. She has a big plate screwed into the side of her head, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then we literally cut to her being what I can only describe as a car stripper.
That's a car stripper.
I mean, she's stripping on a car. Like
At a car
it's like
show.
a strip club that has cars in it, and the girls are dancing on the cars. And she seems to be pretty famous because there's people like asking for her autograph and shit.
Mhm.
And she seems to be kind of like she has like an attitude problem because like one of the girls is like trying to talk to her and she's like whatever, I don't want to talk. That's anyway. She leaves. She's going back to her car. She gets chased down by a guy. She runs through her car. She thinks something bad's gonna happen. And he's asking her for an autograph, and then of course he turns like, "Oh, give me a kiss. Oh, give me more." So she's like trying to like assault her, and then she just like stabs him in the ear with like this hair chopstick that she
Yes.
has and kills him.
The most versatile hair chopstick I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah. This weapon continues through the entire film. So yeah, she stabs him in the neck, he like throws up all over her and shit, and then dies. And she like pulls him in the back of the car and then goes back to the car stripping place. Some time must have passed. I mean, maybe she chopped up the body or something. It doesn't know, but no one is there. The place is completely empty when she gets back.
Mhm.
So she takes a shower to wash all the puke off and everything, and she hears like this banging sound coming from the stage. So she goes out there. It's her car that she was dancing on, which is like an old boxy Cadillac with like a flame vinyl wrapping on it.
It makes it go faster.
Correct. And then there's a bizarre sex scene, literally with her having sex with the car
In the back seat.
in the back seat, having sex with the car. Like the hydraulics of the car are simulating sex motions. It's bizarre.
Mhm.
So then she like just goes home, and we see her like living life at home, like eating cereal, and like she lives with her parents still. Like a very weird relationship with her dad where they just kind of like ignore each other. But anyway, and we see her like getting sick, like some kind of like black substance is like oozing out of her body. And it's like
Motor oil.
it's bizarre. So she meets up with the girl that she kind of like, ignored at the car stripping place. And then they decide to like kind of bone, and she becomes like super fixated on her nipple piercings to the point where she like likes the metal more than she likes the girl.
Yep.
And the girl like, okay, shuts it down because she gets a little too crazy with the yanking the piercings and is like, okay, you need to stop. And then she gets kind of upset and tries to walk away. And she's like, all right, relax. Like, let's just go back to my place and chill out. So it goes back to her place, and I somehow they end up taking a pregnancy test. And the girl Alexia takes the test and is pregnant.
Mhm.
Um,
And here comes the hairpin.
yeah, and then she goes like out and gets upset and then murders the girl with the hairpin, and then murders a guy with a stool, and then tries to go murder his girlfriend and then murders their other roommate. And she's like, "Oh, how many roommates do you have?" And
Yeah.
she's like, murders that guy, and then she murders the other one, and then she like, goes home to like burn the evidence, and she sets the house on fire, and then like locks her parents in their bedroom. I'm assuming to make sure that they burn up too.
Mm-hmm.
And then she like goes to the
bus
like a
station.
train station,
Yeah.
to try to escape. And then there's like her wanted poster is up on this big like kind of digital poster board thing. And she's like, "Oh shit, I can't like get on the train. People are gonna recognize me." And then another thing comes up where it talks about a missing boy and has like the computer generated like what he would look like, now 10 years later or whatever. So she goes in the bathroom and cuts off her hair and then smashes her face on the sink to break her nose and give herself black eyes so that she kind of sort of resembles that boy. And
Yep.
then presents herself to the police and the dad of that kid as that kid.
Well, she's also starting to have a pregnancy belly after the failed abortion too that she did. And then
that's not yet. That's that's
no, I'm saying, but she body wraps herself to like hide.
Right. Yeah, because she's pretending to be a boy.
Right.
So she literally like binds her breasts and somehow binds her pregnant belly,
which is growing really fast.
Right. And now the movie kind of slows down. We get more of like a domestic thing of like her living with her dad, who's very intense, who like takes like fucking steroids. He's like the captain of like a fire department.
Yep.
But like a very weirdly militaristic fire department. And then he's making her / his son become a firefighter too. And again, there's like just a bunch of weird scenes of like them. Like the mom comes back and immediately finds out that she's a pregnant woman and not the son, and she doesn't really care. She just says, "Okay, just take care of it."
Yep, he needs this. Take care of it.
Yeah, and then like one of the other guys on the firefighter team kind of sort of figures out who she is, tries to talk to the dad about it. The dad like literally murders him in a forest fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that he doesn't complain, and he goes back and tells her like, "Yeah, I know you're not really my son, but I don't care who you are. You're always my son."
Yep.
And so then they have a big firefighter party, and she does like this bizarre, she starts doing her like car stripping sex dance on a fire truck and like weirds everybody out.
Well, yeah, they're all dudes.
Yeah, they're all dudes like, "What is happening?" Because they all think he's like a boy. So they're like, "What's going on?" Like the dad comes in and sees it and is like, "What the fuck?" and kind of shuts it down. We get another bizarre sex scene of her boning a fire truck. And then she essentially starts going into labor, and we see like her skin ripping open, and there's like metal underneath her pregnant belly, and she's like lactating motor oil. And then she like goes to the dad and like, it's basically shows him like, "Yeah, I'm not your son. I'm a pregnant woman." And he initially tries to leave, and then she asks for help, and he goes, "Okay, I'll help you like give birth to this child." So she gives birth to the child, and she dies in childbirth. And then the dad like takes the child, who is like some kind of half car, half human hybrid, and is like holding it like he's going to take care of it.
Yep.
And that's it. I skipped over a lot of the dad and son stuff because that to me is like, I don't know, I didn't really give a shit at that point. Because like the movie starts at like 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like 100 miles. The first like 20 minutes of the movie is like, wow, this movie's fucking nuts. Like, what is going on? And then it just like goes, cha-chunk. No, let's take it down a gear. And then the last hour of the film is a totally different speed and energy than the first.
It deals with the grief of loss.
Right. It's very bizarre. Like why would you start off with that crazy shit and then shift gears into that?
It should almost be the other way around.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah. Do you want to start with your highlights?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the music in this was great. I mean, they actually had a Kills song in here, which may be the first time I heard it. Oh no, I guess not. You ever see the movie The Losers?
Maybe.
It was it's like one of the if it's a trivia question, if you ask like what 3 comic franchises has Chris Evans been a part of?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the one that nobody knows. It's
Yeah.
like him and Henry Dean Morgan and Zoe Saldana were all in the Losers.
Mhm.
Anyway, but it is a DC comic.
Yeah.
And in the scene where Zoe Saldana and Henry Dean Morgan like bone, they play a Kill song. It's the only other
Okay.
time I've heard a Kill song in a film. There might be others out there, but this one was the second one. The car stripping was pretty cool. I mean, I would go to a car stripper place that looked interesting, right?
Mhm.
I would just experience it. I mean, I wouldn't be asking for autographs, but I would be like, excited about it. Like, it would be fun. Um, yeah. So like the car impregnated her somehow.
That's on my other side.
But that's exciting.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's fun. That's like Cyborg. That's like Tetsuo the Iron Man type stuff.
Mhm.
And then the baby was like, I don't know, a cyborg baby.
It
Like
had definitely
that's
had like titanium
right. It
spine.
had like it had like a metal spine. Like we don't even know it. Like it might have had like a Terminator face. We don't know. But that's cool. I wonder how that grows. If it's like biometal, that would be interesting. Or if you have to like build new parts.
Mhm.
Anyway, I thought that was all cool. What about you?
When's the car show coming to the McCormick place?
The car stripping show?
Yeah.
I don't know if the car stripping show is coming anytime soon.
To get more people there.
I agree.
I just thought it was a really interesting, really opening to the movie too, for the most part, right? Like, okay, this is really good. Buckle up. You're in for a wild ride.
Right. Like I said, this shit is like, yeah, it's like 100 miles an hour. It like comes at you like, wow, what the fuck is going on? Like within the first 15 minutes, there's like what, 6, 7 murders?
Uh-huh.
Like it's like, wow. And then
Yeah.
it just goes lower gear.
Yep.
Hope you felt like crying the rest of the film.
Yeah. And it almost alluded to, because they talk about like these different, the news stuff that happens, like, is there a serial killer? And you go, as you watch it, like, is she the serial killer? Like, has she murdered all these other people that they're talking about? It's possible.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's like you don't know where this shit's going. It's like
No.
it's like very bizarre. It's very cool, and then it goes in a direction you do not expect it to go in.
Not in the slightest.
And it is not as good as the beginning was.
Yeah. I put the multi-purpose hairpin. She uses that for everything, for murder, for abortions, whatever she needs it to do.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, it didn't work. So
it was metal, to be fair.
Yeah. And this is very, with the themes of this, and it's very Cronenberg-esque, I think. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he made something similar to this, right?
I was thinking it was gonna be like Crash.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like the people that got off, because she is definitely getting off from the car.
Yes, she is.
And I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a really weird, like body horror version of Crash, like even more. And it wasn't.
No,
but that's what I thought. I thought it was going in that direction. Yeah.
And she's obviously she's in a suit and prosthetics, but she's naked a lot. And I thought the body work that was done on this was really good. I think it's interesting to see. Now, contrary to belief, your stomach does not split open when you're giving birth, and it's interesting though to see
cyborg birth. Maybe
like I'm expecting something bigger than that baby to come out of her to split her stomach like that. But it's interesting to see the idea of like the womb is essentially titanium as well inside of her, which is really interesting concept for that biometal, right?
Well, yeah, a metal that moves and moves with you as a living being. Yes, very much.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. Yeah, it would have been better if it, could have stayed at 100 miles per hour the entire time. Probably not, but it had a good shot to do it. So interesting concept. I'd like to just have seen it gone a different way. Those are my highlights. I'll run my low points. Man, she's a dick as a kid. Like, she caused that crash.
Well, I mean, she was a normal asshole kid.
I know, but she it felt like she was just an asshole all around for no reason. She's not a good person. You're not rooting for her in the slightest.
No.
I wrote pregnant how? I'm just trying to think okay, if you're in the front and there's a gear shifter, sure, I'll give you that. But it felt weird. Like she's like bonded up with like the seat belts in the back, and like this is bizarre. I watched it, and the wife comes in. She's like, "How's it been?" Like I go, "I don't know what the fuck I just watched. I have no idea. I don't know how to process this." And so I had to sit there and kind of like process it for a while. Um, and yeah, just that, as you said, that second part, the last 2/3 of the movie just felt so different and just not in line with anything else. And I think it hurt it for that. So, that's what I got. How about you?
Okay. So yeah, stalker behavior. Like the first guy didn't really feel bad for it, like he was being
No.
a fucking asshat. Like she could have easily played that off as like, yeah, he was a stalker trying to fucking grab me. I stabbed him. Obviously it didn't go that way. It went a completely different direction. But yeah, like I said, this movie starts off, I mean, crazy. And then
Yeah.
it just, just stops. Like 20 minutes in, just shift gears. Now it's a completely different movie and not nearly as good as the beginning. But yeah, like those firefighter parties, dude. Like, I don't know, firefighter or like, you know, like vet school. Like, like is everybody in France just like party crazy all the time? I guess so.
They must.
Yeah, but again, like I don't think you can like bind a pregnant belly, especially if it's made out of like metal.
No, you cannot.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to work, and you're not going to be able to hide that. Like, I guess you could say, like, I drink a lot of beer or something. I don't know for a little while. But yeah, that birth was upsettingly painful. I did not like that. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. So, would you like to go first? Do you want me to go first for Alice for this one?
I go first. I mean, it's an interesting watch for sure. Is this a movie that I would want to watch again? Probably not. I mean, it's up there for an interesting factor, but it's not, again, like the when I watched the first 20 minutes again, sure. Like that was fun. The rest of it, I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. And I didn't know. So I'm gonna go with 6. 6 uncomfortable party dances out of 10.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't know. It's like the first part of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it seems like that was like the story that they had, and there's like a short film, and then been amazing, and just ended there. Like, no, we got to do a feature length. Well, how do we do that? She's impersonating a dead kid's identity to have this touching father-child moment for an hour. No, please don't.
Right. Well, that's a film. Sure. Like that's a whole film premise. Film. But yeah, not while you're like pregnant with a car baby.
Like, and that is the pregnancy of the car baby is like in the background for the rest of the movie. It's not like not a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's again that the second half of the film is just bizarre.
So yeah, I agree with you. I will also give it 6 uncomfortable dances, party dances out of 10. It's just it had so much to go.
Did you think that the dad died?
Yes.
Like that he had overdosed and died? Like he was very clearly dead, right? Like the next scene he was fine.
Well, it felt like because he claps over and she's like cuddling him, and it looked like he did the steroids and injected it, and he goes, you know what, I'm sick of this, and then just put air into his body, which, especially if you like air into like the left arm, he can cause an aneurysm. And I thought that's what happened to him.
He clearly put it back, the syringe back in the vial.
Okay.
I mean, he did pull that. We did see him put it in and get a second dose, but then he like passed out. But he was like passed out with his eyes open, like he looked fucking dead. Yeah. Like he looked very dead.
It's entirely possible he was at one point.
And then like the next scene, like she like goes to the room and like puts on a dress, and then he just comes in like, hey, what's up? Like,
yep.
It's like he's totally fine. Like you were just dead, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's if nothing else, watch. You have to watch this to see what we're talking about because we can't explain it well enough, especially like the second hour.
Yeah, it's a bizarre movie.
So, all right, cool.
All right, anything else you want to add in there?
Nope, take us home.
All right, so we'll conclude our new French Extremity deep dive next week with a director spotlight on one of the breakout directors of the genre. That's Gaspar No or Noe, or I don't know how to pronounce French names, so I'm sorry. It's like it took me forever to like Denis Villeneuve.
Dennis. His name's
Yeah, it's
Dennis.
like Dennis Villeneuve. And I don't know how you say that, but I heard it actually pronounced and it's Denis Villeneuve. Like, fuck that. I cannot pronounce that. My mouth won't do that. Anyway, so we'll be discussing Irreversible, Enter the Void, and Climax. So prepare for an art house overload. I don't know if you're gonna like these movies, buddy.
You know, it hasn't been as torturous as you thought it was going to be on me. So,
Well, but these are very art house. These are very out there.
then that might be the episode.
Climax is fucking weird. It's like the entire movie is like one continuous shot. It's something. You'll have to watch it. It's something.
I'm excited.
Irreversible. There is a version of it called the straight cut, which will play it the correct way through and just watch like a movie. The original version of the film is kind of like Memento, where it's like different sections of it are played at different times and shit. So again, like, I don't know if you're gonna like these movies. You don't seem to like those cerebral puzzle movies too.
I yes and no. I thought that they took Chuck Palahniuk's movie in Fight Club and made it cohesive for Fight Club. I don't know. I could have watched that in order the way the book did it.
Well, yeah, but it's a book.
Yeah. So awesome.
But yeah, so remember, we watch bad movies so you don't have to.
And this has been Graveyard saying, "Have you checked on the children?"
This is Salem saying, "Long live the new flesh."
Good night.